reschedule classrooms, reassign classrooms, move staff throughout the building, motivate our staff to pack up all of their supplies before the summer, put them in storage, and just the coordination and the leadership that it took to do that in an occupied school. Many times you hear of large construction projects, obviously new building, they're easy, nobody's there, but industrial commercial projects, you don't have to deal with that. You work with the things in the building. But here, it was done very smoothly, without a hitch, and really the administration deserves all the credit for that. I'm working on my Kindle here, just trying to figure out, how do I read my notes without reading reading glasses? Technology came to mind, use my Kindle and expand it. Of course, early on, we have Mr. Ray Dewey here, who was the former high school principal, Dr. Yancey, who are in the back with their parents. The initial approval and all of the legwork leading up to this project getting started was all on way back 2007 and forward. There was Dr. Yancey and Ray that put all the documentation together for the MSBA, filed a statement of interest, performed all of the building assessment information and reports to show the MSBA that we have a viable project, we have a well-run school that's well-maintained, multiple meetings with the MSBA, and of course you're going to see some, you may have seen some already, pictures of Mr. Dewey there giving some of the tours way back over 3 years ago to show what the school looked like at the time. So there was a lot of work done just to get the information out to the community and to gain approval through the MSBA. And most of that work was done by Mr. Ray and Dr. Patricia Yancey. So let's give it a little.
Yeah, you got it.
Along with the project-related work, this high school has gone through a transformation over the last 10 years to make it what it is right now educationally. And none of that would have happened without leadership of Dr. Yancey and this group, because you want to invest in a school that has credibility and has strength in other ways beyond the facility. And to build that credibility and the foundation of educational excellence was so important to getting this building project approved and supported. So that also should be recognized. The MSBA, Jack McCarthy was the executive director, Steve Grossman, the state treasurer. The whole MSBA program provides a model and framework for structure and direction and support for projects like this. And without that support and infrastructure, towns and cities would be on their own on managing projects like this. So with your group, thank you as well. Painting company, which is all over here. Chet's not here, but Chet was our on-site clerk of the works here every day, overseeing the entire project, making sure that we were well represented. He was the guys and years of the town and the building committee, as well as Deborah and Tom and Margaret and Jennifer. Welcome back. And they were our project managers, owner's project managers, which means that their job was to represent the town board and the building committee, and make sure that our needs were in that, to make sure that all the reporting was submitted to the MSBA on time, to be our advocate and advisor through the process. And they did a fabulous job out of that. And without you, we would have lost them. For the first 6 months, the building committee in place, we had no direction. It was just us. We got the feasibility money. We were able to hire a painting company, and things are a lot easier after that. Your firm did a very good job. JCJ, our architect, right down here. There's a lot of planning that goes into a building like this. And I never fully appreciated the work of an architect until we went through this whole process. You have to plan the needs of the school. You have to make sure it's code compliant. You have to make sure that the egresses are properly planned. The functional needs are met. The design elements are probably addressed. And where is that Jason? Oh, okay. And these guys did a fantastic job. I mean, meeting the deadlines, we had to file the feasibility study by March of 2011. They had to file the schematic design by 2 months later, by May of 2011. By August, you had to submit the design development documentation to the MSBA. And all of these deadlines, JCJ came through and met all the deadlines and gained approval through the MSBA on the first pass. The feasibility study, we didn't, only one time out of the 6 were approved through that initial feasibility presentation at the MSBA. If we had been one of the other 5, our whole project would have been pushed back according to the schedule of the MSBA and their timelines and their board meetings. So, I want to make sure you recognize and we understand that not only the quality of the work, but the time that you did it under, and the constraints that you had, were very well noticed, as well as 3 months later, you had to start putting together all the construction documents, which are hundreds of pages by trade, multiple levels for a project like this. And JCJ came through and did everything on time and quality, as well as helping us through the iterative process of how do we, work around issues that come up, right? Whether it be budget issues, cost issues, scope issues, and the whole team worked as advisors on how do we best accomplish the needs of the town so that we have a finished product that everybody will be happy with. And JCJ was a huge part of that. Now, W.T. Rich. They were our construction managers. They basically did all the work in here. Some of you may not know this, but nobody on the building committee lifted a hammer or operated a power tool. That was all done by our construction management firm and all of the trades and people that you had working for you. We had to submit all the bids, manage all the bids, go through the selection process. It's been a real collaborative relationship with you guys. Working through a high school, renovation occupied. I'm sure you had your challenges, and you work very closely with the central office and the high school office to work through those. Mike Perlo was on here. He was our on-site construction supervisor, so he had to oversee the 130 contractors and the 30 trades on a day-to-day basis. That's an enormous job to manage. In some of these pictures, you can see what went on over the last 2 years, especially last summer. Was a massive amount of work in 2.5 months. And again, W.T. Rich and all of the contractors that you hired, you're all credit for that. Now, nobody's laughed. So usually when a slide presentation like this is running in the background of the presentation, something funny comes up, and the speaker thinks they're laughing at him, and they're laughing at the slide, so that's...
Yep. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Okay, as far as the building committee,
Putting the glass cheese.
we had about 70 meetings. Every one of them was long. They involved a lot of thought, a lot of decisions, a lot of participation. These weren't meetings that you could just sit there and sit in the background. Everybody on the building committee contributed, shared their thoughts. There was some arguments and discussions sometimes, but it was all toward making sure that the finished product was what the town expected. Everyone was professional, and I'm going to talk individually about every member of the building committee in a minute. We made some changes. There were only 5 members of the building committee that were original members. There were 11 on the building committee. And I went back and looked, and only 5 of us were on the original building committee. We made some changes to kind of fill some gaps that we had. We didn't have enough knowledge when it comes to construction knowledge. So we had Mark join as well as Ryan. We wanted to make sure that continuity was maintained. When Tom stepped off the school committee, we put him on the building committee and replaced him with somebody else. So we did some adjustments along the way to make sure that we continue to have good representation So, moving on. Paul. Paul is senior member of the Finance Committee. He was the one who provided all of the reason, the logic, the historical perspective, the intelligence on asking questions that kind of gear everybody down the right path. And his professionalism and his dedication to the town and to this building committee cannot be understated. And I hope everybody in the room understands the contribution that Paul Helmer makes to the town of Norton, that he has made over decades. He's a retired professor from Meade College, and he's gone through some challenges of his own, during the process of this building project. And he never missed a beat. His wife passed away during the project, and he still showed up in meetings. He would visit his wife for dinner over at Epic and come here right afterwards and skip dinner himself. Make sure he was here all the time and make sure he So I greatly value and appreciate his contribution to the building committee, as well as the decade serving the town of Norton. Mark Powers, invaluable experience in the construction and trades. His background provides what we needed as far as knowledge with this project, to ask the right questions, to be a smart customer to the project and to our vendors and our professional team. But beyond that, Mark's passion is amazing. I mean, he was part of the NEED group that was out there promoting the project. When he was done with that, he sent me an email that said, can I join the building committee? And fortunately, we were able to make a position for him. And it's been so great. He's been a huge, valuable asset to the building committee with his working knowledge. So, thank you. Who's Brian? Boucher? Brian also has background in construction. He was another person that was added on later in the project based on our needs. Once we had the project approved, I had to look at the makeup of the committee. I wanted to make sure we had people with construction background on the committee. That was more important than, there was some changes with some boards, people that were no longer on boards and committees, and it gave us a great opportunity to backfill with continued follow the really important for this building committee. So Brian has been a great addition as well. Brad Bramwell, he's on the board of selectmen. He is the original member of the building committee. When we went to the MSBA and met with them, Brad and Art Nancy and Ray and myself, many times we've been in there together. Brad, if you don't know him, he's very calm, thoughtful. I can usually tell just by looking at Brad what he's thinking. So in a meeting, if we have something that's being debated, Brad doesn't have to say a whole lot. You can usually tell by looking at his face whether he supports it or he doesn't. And, paying attention, I didn't ask him for additional comment to share with everybody else, because I know there's something going on in that head that he wants to share with everybody. And from a political perspective, Brad's been great. He's been the liaison to the board of selectmen, which meant that he could feed back information, updates directly to the board of selectmen. I knew that he used to provide accurate and valid information. So thank you, Brad. Mike Flaherty could not make it for 1 o'clock. He should be here soon. He is currently the Finance Committee chairperson. He also is an original member of the committee. And his occupation, we found out later, involves construction risk management. So what a great member to have on the building committee, somebody whose own business is involved in risk management and insurance and such in the construction industry. Drew Mackey. Drew joined as the school committee representative once Tom resigned from the school committee. So he was our representative, but I'll tell you that Drew and I have worked together for 10 years now, and he's methodical, he's organized, thoughtful, he's passionate about things that are really important. Like, for example, this auditorium was really important to Drew. So when you look around and you see some of the features, it was something that Drew was really passionate about, to make sure that we had a real good auditorium that, you know, the community can be proud of. Drew also has two, he had two high school students, and he works in the health industry, which those of you that see some of the benefits around the school that relate to health and wellness, Drew always had input to that, so thank you. So I mentioned Tom Galata. He was the original member of the building committee as well. He made trips into the administrative office many times at the beginning to get the project going. He's a former school committee chairman, so he was the school committee chairman when we started our building. And what Tom has done is provide continuity, stability, and you know, that sense of the foundation that we needed throughout the whole project. So thank you, Tom.